Hello everybody, this is Albert from Green Tea House. I hope you're doing well today. Today we're going to talk about what's the best tea for you to drink. Now before we begin, I highly recommend you check out our first playlist, a fundamental playlist called What Is, where we talk about what is tea, what is red tea, what is black tea, and so forth. All right, so currently I'm drinking, because I like to highlight a tea every time. This is a rose petal black. So this is a black tea from China that after they pluck the leaves, they allow them to sit next to rose petals to infuse the scent of roses into it. So I like this one quite a bit. Okay, so what's the best tea for you to drink? Well, all of them. I mean, to be honest, end the video. No, all of them. No, well, look, it's really about what you're looking for. And we've talked about in the previous episodes, what is a green tea? What's its taste? And a green tea from Japan is going to be different than a green tea from China. And that, the Chinese green teas are going to be more chestnutty, roasty, and the Japanese green teas are going to be more vegetal and more like fresher, I guess you could say. And so I would tell you, what are you looking for in a taste profile? I'd also tell you what is your history with teas. There are very few people that have never drank a tea in America. You've probably had at least Lipton tea, whether it be a green tea or a black tea. Now, if you've only had low-grade sachets or in bags, I would tell you, and this is not to cast aspersions on you in any way, shape, or form, you really can't say that you know tea. You really can't, because it's like saying like, I know high-end meat and I've only eaten at Jack in a Box. So I would tell you, where are you coming from in your background? If you are a hardcore coffee drinker, then I'm probably going to recommend something else. If you're somebody that is looking for something that's more fresh tasting, and maybe you do have a little history with tea, but maybe not too experienced with tea, then maybe I'll recommend something else. I think the safest thing to do is this. Tea, and when we're talking about tea, we're talking about Camellia sinensis tea. The 6 teas actually come from the tea plant. We're not talking about tisanes. We're not talking about herbals and stuff like that. We're talking about the 6 teas, and really just 5, because yellow tea is exceedingly hard to get here in America. I would tell you the best thing to do is to get a little of each of the 5 major categories. And of course, we sell all these at Green Tea House, but I would tell you, I would say get a green tea, get a white tea, get a lightly oxidized oolong, like a Magnolia oolong, or an Alishan from Taiwan. Get a darker oxidized oolong, like a strong dragon, strong fire. I mean, there's a bunch of them. Get a black and get a pu'er. And then, 1 ounce packages, we sell these. And then steep them properly. We have a video here on how to steep them properly. And then just notice the taste profiles and see what you gravitate toward. What I personally do, and going back to the coffee drinkers before I tell you what I personally do. The coffee drinkers, if you're a hardcore coffee drinker, I would tell you you're probably going to like the pu'ers and the blacks, because the pu'ers and the blacks tend to be the strongest, and they tend to mimic the closest what you're going to get to coffee taste. In particular, the pu'ers more than the blacks, because you can get like a Darjeeling black, which is kind of a light black. Doesn't taste anything like coffee. But if you were to get a pu'er, whether it be in a tuocha like in the cakes, or whether it be loose leaf pu'er, that's got the closest texture, smell, and look of coffee. Now, what would I do in your situation? Well, I would tell you to do what I do every day. So I like to drink a wide variety of teas every day, because each tea is going to bring a different taste. So I'll normally start the day, and to be fully honest, I haven't had coffee in 30 years. I've never been a coffee drinker. It made me too jittery. That's one of the reasons I got into tea, because tea has less caffeine. But still, I like the caffeine kick, a little kick. So what I'll probably do is the first tea I have in the morning, I will probably have something that's a little more caffeinated. So I'll either go with a Gyokuro or a matcha. And I drink my matchas black or straight, because I don't eat until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So a matcha latte would ruin my fast. And I've been doing that for almost 10 years. not eating until 3. So I'm gonna drink a matcha or a gyokuro, which are two more highly caffeinated drinks, probably first. And since the Japanese teas, those are 2 green teas, since those are going to give me more of a vegetal, light, herbaceous kind of taste, that's great. Then what I do is I will drink a little water to cleanse the palate. And then I'm going to go with something stronger. And then so I'll either go because my favorite teas are probably the oolongs. I'll probably do a oxidized oolong, or maybe I'll go with a pu'er or a black to give me something that's going to range on the other side of the palate, give me something stronger and bolder in the taste. And so I'll do that. So what I would tell you to do is get a sample size of every color tea and drink them quite a bit. Remember, you can re-steep leaves, 1 teaspoon, you can re-steep them. I would tell you the darker ones, you can definitely re-steep more, but you can re-steep these at least 2 times, if not 3 times. And with the darker ones, you could re-steep them probably 4 times. I would reuse the leaves, and again, reuse the leaves within 1 day. Don't use wet tea leaves for 5 days out because they can get mold. But my point is, you can resample these teas in a given day and just see which one you like more. And I would tell you overall, most tea drinkers don't only drink black tea every day. I mean, there are going to be people like that. Like, I only like black, I will only drink black. I would tell you most of the time when you have these people that are very kind of myopic, the kind of tunnel vision when it comes to tea, it's because they've never really been introduced to the other teas, which is understandable, right? If you've always liked English tea, you're probably gonna, or Earl Grey, you're only gonna drink an Earl Grey, right? So, I mean, it makes sense. But I would tell you, sample all the 5 major teas quite a bit. And then certainly it's okay to have ones that you like more than others. But in general, I would tell you to be like a tea lover, true tea lover, drink all the varieties because all of them have a unique aroma, a unique liqueur or look to it, and a unique taste. And why limit yourself? It's like ice cream, right? Imagine just eating vanilla ice cream your whole life when you have so many awesome flavors out there. And I would say it's the same thing for the Camellia sinensis teas. Guys, post in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. As I told you, I'd recommend just get little 1-ounce samples of the 5 major teas. You tell me what's your favorite tea. Until next time, take care, God bless, and pray.